And said the right name? Okay. Welcome to the Village Board meeting for Monday, November 10th, 2025 at 6:04 p.m. We're here in the Village Hall Boardroom. Would everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Heidi, would you please, or Trustee Waco, would you please read the land acknowledgement?
I'd love to. Before we begin this evening, we would like to recognize the Seneca Nation on whose ancestral territory we are gathering. The present-day village of Fairport sits on traditional Seneca land. The Seneca Nation, with the Mohawk, Cayuga, Onondaga, Oneida, and Tuscarora, make up the sovereign Haudenosaunee Confederacy. With respect, we acknowledge the people of the Seneca Nation on whose land we now live. We honor their past, present, and future contributions to and stewardship of this land.
Thank you. Megan, would you take roll call, please?
Trustee Wojka?
Here.
Trustee Bonaski?
Evening.
Trustee Mishler?
Here.
Trustee Briggs?
Here.
Mayor Domeratz?
Here.
Sean Gosson, correct?
Okay, great. For everyone on the board, Village Manager White unfortunately is ill this evening and was unable to make it here. So we will be continuing on without his presence, and we wish him all well. All right, so has everyone who is interested in speaking tonight during the Citizens Forum, have you signed up at the sheet that Megan just picked up off the table? Okay. All right, so I'm going to open Citizens Forum at 6:06. I will ask everyone to keep their comments limited to 5 minutes or less. There is no sharing of time between speakers, and we ask you to keep your comments directed to the entire board, not to one person, and also that everybody is respectful of everybody else during their comments. With that, Megan, what you got for us?
Michael Santorello, 10 Old Orchard.
Welcome, Mike.
Thank you. That's right, it's Michael Santorello, 10 Old Orchard. I'm going to violate your first rule about talking to somebody individually. First of all, I'd like to congratulate Trustee Emily Mishler, and I would like to break into song, but I'm not really capable. But you're moving on up to the east side, except it might not be up, and it might be more south than east. But don't forget us down here, okay?
Thank you, Michael.
And I'd like to thank the rest of the board for all the work that they've done. Everybody loves the grass. I think that you all did it ethically, and I just like to thank you. Over 200, I think it's over 225 pages now. I just want to basically talk about one page. It's page 85, as best as I can tell. It's around 85. I did check it. I was able to get on the computer before it crashed, and I also want to thank the mayor for. Did everybody get my prepared remarks? Mm-hmm. Okay, because org, com, all those things, I don't know any of that stuff. But I want to talk more, not so much policy as the intersection between politics and policy, and I think it in this zoning code, because it is so important, they intersect a lot. When I'm talking around with my neighbors, friends, family, I had 2 daughters that live in the village, and maybe they'll take us into one of these ADUs when my wife and I are old. But when we talk about granny apartments, in-law apartments, everybody's warm and fuzzy. When you talk about either youth or particularly investor ADUs, the language changes. It becomes almost hostile. Then they talk about density and the parking and things like that. But when they talk about the grannies, they think about elder care. They think about their own personal situation. And like I said, historically, I'm just politically old, and it used to matter a lot that owner occupants were the vast majority of the people in the village, and we paid attention to that. In fact, I'd say that all the previous codes gave a preference to owner occupants, and I think it's because of human nature, and I do think that owner occupants are neater, quieter, and more involved in the community. I appreciate that when it comes to neater and quieter, you do have other code sections, but I think it's maybe duplicative, but I think it's fine that it's duplicative. And I do reject the correlation, that there isn't a correlation between those two. I don't know if the planner would want to either walk back, might be one way we describe it nowadays, or whether or not I'm not understanding it. But the remark in the, when you had all those surveys done, there was a line in there that said, owner occupancy requirements in general have been shown not to correlate with property maintenance, tenant quality, or to ensure better neighborhood outcomes. I just don't buy it. I did a little Google AI. I stress, I push myself. And it came up with owner-occupied properties generally see higher levels of maintenance compared to investment properties. Studies consistently indicate a strong correlation where owner-occupied properties are better maintained than investment rental properties. Again, I find that when the numbers tell you that owner occupants vote at 70%, and tenants vote at 50%. Owner occupants care more. I know that voting residence laws have some impact on that disparity, but also owner occupants on average live there for 12 years, tenants 2 years. There's a reason all the banking institutions have mortgage rates lower for owner occupants than they do for owner, because owners are more invested. Now, I've been doing this for 40 years, and I can think of actually one notable exception. That everybody, and I think of one other candidate I can remember over the 40 years, it wasn't an owner occupied. Now, I don't know, I didn't add them all up, but that's probably over 100. That's because owner occupied people are involved. And I think a more involved citizenry results in better community. That's why I think that owner occupants ought to be the first to try out ADUs. It ought to be limited to owner occupants. Give them a shot at doing it right. I also reject the argument that it's hard to enforce. I called the town of Webster, and it's the town that has an ADU with owner occupancy restriction. And they indicated that they had no issues. And they've been I think it was a number of years anyways that they've had it. And they're enforced the same way everything else is, by the code enforcer. Good code enforcer goes over there and talks to them, cajoles them. If they're not listening, gives them a ticket, gives them a fine. And if you have to go to 9 yards to judicial, then you have to do that. And like I said, if the ADU person dies, moves, or sells to anyone that's not an owner occupant, they lose it. I have one now in the town of Webster in my other life, where I represent the seller, you lose it. That's the way it goes. Now, when there was a discussion last week work session about going slow on ADUs, I think the question was asked, what do you fear? What are you worried about? I'd like to take a stab at it. I think we, speaking for the single-family owner occupants, the SOFOs, fear the creeping choppiness of micro two-family apartments caused by faddish ADUs. That's what we fear. By going incremental, in particular requiring owner occupancy for ADUs, the board will diffuse most of the contentious provision in this good zoning code. Maybe you still have a little bit with the height people, okay? That's not my thing. But if the new code should headline, and that's again how old I am, or I probably should say, if this new code Facebooks with a non-fuzzy, pro-investor, tenant-sounding ADU, it won't be popular. If it's perceived as a pro-granny apartments, it will be popular. Popularity of zoning codes does have value in itself. Zoning codes rely a lot on the reputation. An investor will smell when a zoning code goes to more favorable to investor, and they'll come in like vultures. But it favorably impacts property values, a good zoning code, and eases and encourages compliance. When people believe that the zoning code is good, you'll have a greater compliance. The zoning officer will have less to do. I don't know, I'd be more than welcome if you have any questions or it needs further explanation from me. All right, otherwise, thank you. Oh, go ahead.
We're not going to ask any questions, and we're not going to make any comments this evening. But I urge you, if you want to share that, to please, we're going to announce when the public hearing is, and, if you want to come back and have more response, please come.
Okay, very good, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Mike. Is there anybody else on the list, Megan? Okay. Then at 6:15, and thank you for coming tonight with that and sharing it ahead of time, too. At 6:15, we'll close Citizens Forum, and we'll go through unfinished business. So item number 1, can I have a motion by the village board to approve the minutes of the October 14th, 2025 village board meeting?
So moved.
By trustee Wojtka,
Second.
by trustee Mishler. Any questions or comments regarding those minutes? And Megan, are all 3 of these, was everybody present for all 3 of these? Okay. With no questions or comments, all in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? That will be unanimous. Item number 2 is a motion by the village board to approve the meeting minutes of October 27th, 2025, the village board work session.
So moved.
By trustee Mishler,
Second.
by trustee Benoski. Any questions or comments regarding those minutes? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? That'll be unanimous. Item number 3 is a motion by the village board to approve the minutes of the November 4th, 2025 village board special meeting. Just as a refresher, because for a moment I was like, did we already meet once this month? That was approving the application for the DRI. Can I have a motion and a second, please?
So moved.
By trustee Wojtka,
Second.
by trustee Benoski. Any questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Then that will be unanimous. So that will take us to new business. And before we start the first item, which is a motion to introduce local law number 3, Jill, there was a note that went out today that there were a few, two small changes that were made to the code. Could you please explain before we do anything what those were?
Sure, I don't even know if I'd call them changes. So in the map, neighborhood was spelled incorrectly. There was missing a B. And if you know me, sometimes I like to make maps without my glasses on, so that was on me. Wanted to make sure that was corrected. The other was a little bit of a reorganization in terms of how the swimming pool section was structured to make it clear. So no new information, just structuring it so it was more effective.
Does anybody have any questions about those 2 changes? Okay. Would you explain what the process is that we're going to follow starting this evening?
Sure. So the first item would be to actually introduce it as a local law, and that kicks into motion the rest of the process. So that would mean the scheduling of the public hearing, where the public would have an opportunity again to comment. And then, of course, we'd have to do seeker and follow that up with the general process. So this is the first. By introducing the local law, you're not voting on it. You're simply putting it up for public hearing and further debate.
We are voting, but we are voting to introduce it.
Correct.
So it is not necessary for there to be any discussion at this point because we are just introducing it.
Correct.
And the opportunity for more in-depth discussion will come after the public hearing, somewhere in that space before we take a final vote on it.
Yes.
Okay. So with that said, I'd like a motion to introduce local law number 3 of 2025 to enact the new village zoning code. There should be a D in the word code, and zoning map to set the public hearing for the proposed local law number 3 of 2025 on December 8th, 2025 at 6 p.m. Can I have a motion and a second, please?
So moved.
By trustee Banowski,
Second.
by trustee Wyka. We're not going to have discussion because this is just to introduce the local law. There will be plenty of discussion that comes later. So with that, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Then that will be unanimous that we introduce this local law. Okay. And that will take us to item number 2, which is a motion by the village board to authorize Come Home for the Holidays event, December 6th and 7th, 2025, sponsored by the Fairport Parrington Merchants Association based on the terms and conditions deemed appropriate by the village manager and set forth with the attached document. So I didn't know that if you had time to put this, I didn't see it in the packet, what was sent. Yeah, it was sent on Sunday by Pam. So I printed it out for everybody. You have all the information that we have about Home for the Holidays, and it appears on the second page. They are requesting approval of the items on the last part of the second page. So if everybody wants to just take a quick review, I don't have any other information other than what's on here. And while we stated that it's based on the terms and conditions deemed appropriate by the village manager and set forth in the attached document, I did check with the village manager to make sure that he felt comfortable with us approving it with just this information and nothing else. So, and I don't see anybody here from the Merchants Association. So does anybody have any questions that we can try and follow up on? Go ahead.
So moved. Right?
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm getting way into the weeds. Can I have a motion and a second, please?
So moved.
By Banowski and,
I'll second it then.
okay, seconded by Briggs. So does anyone have any questions regarding what's in the document?
I mean, it looks, similar to what we do each year. Do we have a standard for like when setup and breakdown and all that sort of stuff are? Like what time do folks need to be there?
We just have what's right here on the page. So we'll be left to the village manager trying to better document when that is for the rest of staff. I know this will require some work from the DPW as well as some work from the the police department to, because they're doing the horse-drawn wagons, and those are from Beardsley Street.
Yeah, intersection of Beardsley and West.
Yeah, and then go on to Cole. So they'll need to do something to make sure that everything's in place over there. The DPW will have to drop off, I'm sure, some different equipment.
Emily, I know you volunteered, quite regularly there. Like in between, I just couldn't remember. In between, like the 6th and the 7th, because I know the 6th usually there's cookies and some other stuff that folks are hanging out. Is that there also on the 7th, or does that break down in between? I just don't remember. Right, there's like
I
usually
think it's
little
just
tents or
on
something.
Saturday.
I think it's just the Saturday.
Okay.
And they're not doing the holiday market anymore in conjunction with this. The holiday market is going to be a part of the farmer's market on the 15th and the
Gotcha.
22nd.
So I
Okay.
think the very first event, this seems to be in sequential order, time order. So the very first event starts at 10 a.m. Visit with the Grinch.
Well, I think it's on the 7th. There's another one, I think
And then
yeah, okay.
It doesn't list out.
6 on the 7th. There we go, 6 on the previous day, yeah. From 3 to 6. We just make sure that with the horse-drawn and Santa's Row, just want to make sure we got that stuff blocked out so that Santa can park.
Yeah, that's
They always-
very
yeah.
important. I'm sure that Chief Barnes will make sure that there's a place for Santa to park.
Or Weber.
I'm sorry.
Acting Chief
Oh, my
Weber.
gosh. I meant Acting Chief Weber. It is, it's the snow.
But
It's
that leads
confusing.
to the point that the merchants in the village have been working collaboratively on this for years. So it's usually a pretty well-oiled machine. I think it was
Correct,
just
but-
waiting for timing.
But
But it does
we got
involve
this last
using.
minute, and it's useful to have information
And
prior.
This
Wait,
is,
wait,
I understand that we do this years past and everything, but I also wonder, why are we not using the form? Why are we not using the event form for this, so we can, so it can be clearly spelled out for DPW? Because that's the goal of the form, is to make sure that we can, that DPW and whatever the needs are, that we can address them adequately and properly, just to make sure that everyone has a great event. Yeah?
I'll take that back and share that.
But I mean, you know, if Brian feels, yeah, I mean, I understand what you're saying. If Brian feels comfortable figuring it out, though, I mean, like I said, we do it every
Yeah.
year.
Like, if it's good with Brian, it's good with me.
Yeah.
If he can manage it, that's fine.
Okay. Anything from this end of the board?
I'm looking forward to the event. It's always a nice event.
Yep, it is.
Yes, and the whole 6 weeks and really, get a lot of activity into Main Street and back into the village now that the streets are open. I was going to ask Manager White, when are the lights getting turned on?
Oh, yeah, over at,
The street lights, the
Yeah.
ones that line the sidewalks.
oh,
There are some that are on right now. They've also, I've got a report from the
Okay.
FMC meeting this morning. Most of them are on. There are some issues that they've had with photo sensors, that at installation, the photo sensors have gone bad. I noticed on Saturday morning when I was at yoga, which is eye level with the streetlights, that it was daylight, and the streetlights were at this end, all around that building, were still on. But they said that this morning at the FMC meeting that they are working the challenges of photo sensors that are coming in that are not working properly, and that additionally, I was going to save this for the end, but I'll give it to you right now. That additionally, the FMC will be doing some work to light some of the street lights, and they won't be lighting the trees this year. However, there was conduit installed with the trees for future usage to make available opportunities to light up either from the bottom or to wrap trees instead of having one long string that runs up and down Main Street. So in an effort to make it more holiday, they will probably be doing a lot of work to wrap the street lights. There are banners that will be going up and other decorations very soon that they will be working on. So it's a great question. They're going on. The streetlights are going on as we speak, but there's some challenges with new equipment that came in that wasn't working properly to begin with. So,
I'm just excited to support the merchants and
Sure.
get lots of activity back in the village.
any other questions or comments?
I
From the
like
board.
seeing this whole list of things planned out. It's really helpful, because usually I can never remember when everything is, so I can stick this on my fridge and see when everything is.
Okay. Then I'm going to ask for a vote for approval. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Then that motion will carry unanimously as well. Item number 3 is a motion by the village board to surrender $55,487.60 of unpaid property tax and $4,439.01 in accumulated interest to the Monroe County Treasurer for collection. Can I have a motion and a second, please?
So moved.
By trustee Mishler,
second.
by trustee Banowski. Questions or comments? Megan, why don't I immediately go to you? I know we do this every year, but if you want to give a summary of why we do this for anybody who's not sure.
Just based on village law, we collect through October 31st, and the villages do not have the burden of then collecting any uncollected taxes. It gets sent over to Monroe County, and for a short time, residents can pay Monroe County their village tax through, mid-November. And if that's not paid, it gets re-levied on their town and county bill as a separate line item. And no matter what, paid or not, the county takes on the burden of collecting, and we get a check cut to us in April for this balance due to us from Monroe County.
So we are made whole. Any questions from the board?
Does it usually track around this number?
It's
Just out of
the
curiosity.
exact same count as last year, 26 parcels. The makeup's a little different.
Interesting. Oh, sorry, but the
The dollar
dollar
amount's actually slightly less than last year, just
Okay.
based on the makeup of who didn't pay
Right.
this year.
Gotcha. Okay. I'm just curious. Thank you.
Yep.
Anything else? All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Then that will pass unanimously. On to item number 4. Can I have a motion by the village board to approve the following budget amendment related to the purchase of police survival armor vests utilizing a federal grant award by the Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Grant Program, H.3120.209 police gear for $20,000, and H.4389 federal aid public safety $20,000. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
By trustee Mishler,
Second.
by trustee Briggs. And I think it's self-explanatory, Megan, but I'm just going to ask you to briefly just share a few words what we're doing here.
Over the last couple of years, it's really been Officer Dinan has been seeking these grants for some of the, I don't know if turnout gear or the necessary gear that they need, that's on a rotational basis or they expire every so often. So he's been successful in obtaining these grants. I think it's the third one that they've gotten.
And so it's just a transfer of funds to cover the,
It's not a
parcels.
transfer, it's just showing that there's gonna be a cost for the vest that you didn't previously approve, that I'm asking approval for, and the funding source is a grant rather than a transfer from the reserve.
okay, great, thank you. Any further questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Right.
Anyone opposed? That will be unanimous as well. Item number 5 is a motion by the village board to authorize Boy Scout Troop 209 to sell Christmas trees in the southwest portion of the Village Landing parking lot adjacent to the electric charging stations from Saturday, November 22nd, 2025 through Wednesday, December 17th, 2025. The hours of operation will be Wednesday through Friday, 5 p.m. to 9 p.m., Saturday through Sunday, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m., and dates and hours may change as deemed appropriate by the village manager. And I'm just checking something. So, the 15th and the 22nd. So,
The farmer's markets.
yeah, the
15th.
farmer's market is on the November 22nd.
That's
So
the last one.
we're gonna, but I'll go ahead and open this up. Can I have a motion and a second, please?
So moved.
By trustee Mishler?
Second.
By trustee Banowski. Okay, so what I was looking at is the holiday market is on November 15th and November 22nd, and the market goes until 12 noon. The hours of operation on Saturday, so we just need to make sure that that first Saturday that they do not start until 1 o'clock because they need an hour to clean up the market.
They did reference in the letter that upon the completion of the
The
farmer's
market,
market
on that
day
first
they would
day?
start the setup, yeah.
Okay. Any questions from the board?
I think it's a great tradition that the Boy Scouts are able to do that.
Yep. Then all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That will be unanimous. Item number 6 is a motion by the village board to enter into an intermunicipal agreement with Monroe County for reimbursement of stop DWI reimbursement funds for the calendar year 2026 in the amount of $3,724 and to authorize Julie M. Domeretz as mayor to execute the agreement. Can I have a motion and a second, please?
So moved.
by trustee Oika,
Second?
by trustee Banowski. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That will be unanimous, which will take us to item number 7, which is a motion by the village board to enter into an intermunicipal agreement with Monroe County for reimbursement of high visibility engagement campaign funds for the calendar year 2026 in the amount of $1,500, and to accept any additional funds which may become available from New York State Stop DWI Foundation Incorporated.
So moved.
By trustee Mishler,
Second?
by trustee Banowski. Any questions or comments regarding that item?
Yeah, I mean, like, this is something that is around, there's a couple times each year, there's here, and then there's another one some point in the spring usually, isn't there? Related with this, or
I
is this
think in
separate?
the past, the high visibility ones, they usually pick a date. I think in the
Yeah.
past, they've done, the St. Patrick's Day weekend.
Okay. And, okay, so and then, I'm just looking at making sure that 1,500 versus the 37 and change, those two are related, 6 and 7, right? No, that's separate?
They're two separate programs.
Okay,
Yep.
gotcha. All right,
But they might go towards the same activities or different activities. They're just from two different sources.
Do you know, is there a sort of a check back on us, like the follow through on these events happening? So
Yeah.
we've received the funds, but do we know if there's, I'm just curious if.
like, how do we report to them
Yeah,
that this
I'm
was,
just
yeah?
curious, we of course want to accept these funds so that we're able to run these programs.
Mhm.
But I'm just curious on their end, do they, I don't know if anyone knows,
I don't know
There's a-
operationally, it's cost reimbursement for the overtime that the officers allocated to the date
Mm-hmm.
they selected.
So, yeah, I would
operationally,
assume
I'm
that
not
they'd
sure.
have to show that if they're gonna get the money back, that they're gonna,
right? Okay, I'm just curious.
but yeah, no, yeah.
How about this? I know we won't necessarily know if the funds have checked back with us.
Sure.
But can we just send a note over to Acting Chief Weber? See, I got the right chief correct. And just say if they have any proposed dates that they're planning on using these funds in 2026. It's not anything mandatory, but just to share back with the board what they think they might be doing with them.
And I would imagine those dates are not shared publicly for
Yep.
obvious reasons.
No,
It wouldn't-
it's-
we're not interested in the dates
It's-
to broadcast them. I just was curious.
It's
if-
an email back to the board,
Yeah.
just saying, hey, you all asked this question, here's when they're planning on, but it's subject to change depending on what's happening in our community.
Yep.
How's that?
I think it sounds great.
Is that, okay, is that okay with everybody? All right.
Thank you.
Did we vote on this one yet? No, we did not. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Then that will be unanimous as well. Item number 8 is a motion by the village board to accept the October 2025 financial statements for the Village of Fairport and the August 2025 and September 2025 financial statements for the Fairport Municipal Commission. Can I have a motion and a second, please?
So moved.
By trustee Banowski,
Second.
by trustee Mishler. I have sat through these Fairport Municipal Commission meetings, and they have clearly, don't ask me to re-explain them to you, but like this morning was this month's. I go to those meetings every month, and they have clearly explained to the satisfaction of the FMC commissioners as well. Megan, do you have any comments about the September financials? Was it September?
August and
August.
September.
No, those are
FMCs.
FMCs.
Ours are
But
October.
ours are October. Do you have any comments, or is it?
Nothing outside of what's documented in there.
Okay, all right. Any questions from the board? All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? That will be unanimous. Item number 9 is a motion by the village board to authorize the payment of the audited bills.
This is the review part, right? Or we have-
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
I reviewed the bills, and I have found everything to be in order.
okay.
I have also reviewed the bills and have Also found everything to be in order.
And was there anything from Fisher Associates in those bills?
There were not.
Okay.
No.
So I will take Heidi as the motion and Adam as the second. Any questions from anyone else on the board?
No, go ahead.
The weight of composting diverted from the landfill, please.
2.752, I believe. A little bit higher than average.
Yeah, I bet it's those pumpkins.
It's those pumpkin. It is, it's those
Pumpkin.
pumpkins.
Oh,
It's just about 5,500 pounds.
Awesome.
Okay,
It's great.
all
It's the-
right.
You know, it's the 4-year anniversary.
is it really?
Yeah,
That was right before
October
the
was the
election,
birthday,
right?
yeah. yeah. Pretty cool.
Okay. With that noted, do you want to know anything about composting, Sean? We have a composting program in the village for village residents. It's free to use. They can deliver their compost and compost items to Railroad Street in front of the DPW site. There are toters there, and also Parrington Park Seat gave us a chance to plug the program. And residents can also deliver their compost to the toters that are in Potter Park, in the parking lot, inside the enclosure there. And you can bring your own bucket, deliver your own compost. It's free. And how much did we divert this month?
2.72.
Excellent. 2.72
2.7.
tons.
752.
Oh, 752.
Sean, if this service was brought to the town, would your family take part in using it, you think?
There we go. He says he'd be happy to deliver that
One supporting
compost,
family.
especially in July. Okay, with that, if there is no other questions or comments, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Then that motion will carry, or that will carry unanimously. Item number 10 is a motion to amend the previously approved amount of $60,000 to pay health and dental insurance premiums paid in the month of November to $54,610.27.
So moved.
By trustee Mishler,
Second.
by trustee Benoski. Any questions? All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Item 11 is a motion by the village board to authorize the clerk treasurer to pay health and dental insurance premiums for the month of December in an initial estimated amount not to exceed $60,000, subject to audit and amending authorization by the village board at their regularly scheduled December meeting.
So moved.
By trustee Benoski,
Second.
by trustee Wyka. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? That will lead us to announcements and committee reports. While I go grab my book with all my notes on FMC's meeting this morning, I'm going to start right here with trustee Wyka. I'll be right back.
Since we already went over the composting, and everyone's always thrilled about composting, it's getting dark sooner. Please be safe if you are out on the roads early walking pets, if you are out on the roads in the early evening, whether you're walking or driving, please be safe, take your time. And if you are out walking, wear something reflective so people can see you better. That's all I got. Stay warm, friends.
Light on my end, but it's just wanted to report back in Beardsley, Roselawn, Packet Boat have all been paved. The gutters have been replaced. The sidewalks have been replaced. There's just a few driveways that need to be sort of replaced or paved and touched up. But looks great. I know DPW did a lot of work this summer, and yeah, it's great.
Not including the Main Street scape, they have replaced like 4 or 5 times the amount of sidewalks that they normally replace. And it's just amazing. And they all needed to be replaced. And so with talking about sidewalks, I'm going to just state that Main Street is now open, but that does not mean that it's not an active work zone still. The sidewalks, in front of the Mercantile and some of the businesses on the east side of Main Street in that location where the Thomas Creek runs. They are still working on putting in the sidewalks above the bridge area. And in fact, from being down on site on Friday morning, they've replaced a beam that goes over the bridge where sidewalk is supposed to go over it. They replaced it twice and it just got rejected the second time. So even though it's snowing, they're going to try and get that finished. On the west side of the street, the guardrail is up over the creek, but they're still working on the sidewalks over on that side. And as construction goes, they're trying to get everything done. With that said, the street is open. Please come down to the Village of Fairport, and there should be social media and invitations going out to different organizations in the community, and you will find this on the village website shortly, is that on Friday, November 21st at 10 a.m., we will be having a ribbon cutting. We will have a few special guests and lots of thank yous for everybody that worked on the project, and we are conducting it. The initial discussion was that we would do it in the north parking lot and walk down to Railroad Street and cut a ribbon on Railroad Street so that we would not interrupt the traffic. But I'm going to try and cross my fingers and hope that that sidewalk in front of the Mercantile gets completed. And if it's completed enough for the 21st, then we will shift everything down so we're right amongst the businesses. A good portion of the media alert and press release that's going out for this is highlighting our businesses in this area and the challenges that they've faced over the construction period. And we want people to come to the village, especially for the sake of our merchants, but everybody needs to know that we're open and we're open for business, and whether it's residents, visitors, businesses, and all the like, that we want people to come back down to our main street, even when it's snowing, because this ribbon cutting is going to be rain or shine. So with that, I just wanted to cover a few things from the FMC meeting this morning. So here's what I was talking about earlier with streetscape. There have been some photo sensor failures on the streetlights. There will be power panels that get used for a lot of the festival work that we do up and down Main Street. Those will be installed soon. The trees are all planted. If you happen to be walking by a tree in this village and see this gray stuff, some gray plastic stuff coming out of the ground, that's flexible conduit, and it's got to be trimmed back. But the intention is to have now access to the fiber lines that are running underneath the ground that were not there 6 months ago. And we can utilize those to light the trees from the bottom, as well as when we get to the holiday season, we can start lighting up the trees again without having one long string of lights that run up and down Main Street. You know, like get a bulb out on one of those strings of lights and it takes out the whole string. So fiber conduits, fiber and conduits are almost all completely installed, and light poles will be wrapped for the holidays. Something that I thought was, for FMC to be talking about this and sharing it, while FMC, we think of it as being a village property, they are doing work with Waste Management to help Waste Management convert their gas generation at High Acres to electric. They'll be producing about 8 megawatts there. So they are buying Waste Management is buying the infrastructure and will take over ownership and the power once it's all installed, and we are working as community partner to help them get this installed. It will not go back into the grid. It will not. It will be used to generate power within Waste Management, and where that does help all of us who are FMC customers is that load that Waste Management previously has been pulling off of the grid will now be reduced because they'll be using their own power generation to service themselves. And none of this will have an impact on the preference power prices that we get as a municipal power authority. I think that's about it. Just be aware that as of January 1st, New York State will require a shift to electrification and to step away from gas products. And that was what I had from the FMC meeting this morning. And things are looking good for winter time for everybody with power. I'm going to turn it over to you, Ms. Emily. Wait, one thing before we get to you. Before we get to you, I want to say congratulations from all of the board to you on your election this week. Sadly, we will be losing Trustee Mishler at the end of the year and going out within the next day. I want to say congratulations before I say that we'll be putting a posting out to fill the remainder of next year's term for Trustee Mishler, and then there will be a special election following that. I wanted to make sure that I got that announcement out there into the public realm. But congratulations.
Thank you so much.
May it be everything that you want.
Thank you.
I'm going to shift over to you.
Okay. I just wanted to comment back to your waste management with the talk of converting to electric. I actually had the chance this summer to tour waste management, and I saw the facility where they're actually converting it to a power, which is extremely interesting. I didn't realize they were doing that. There's also a Falcon program there. So that's wild. So we actually saw the Falconer. They released the Falcon. We saw the Falcon come back. It was really fascinating. And the idea is to just reduce seagulls and the seagulls create quite a mess with dragging garbage, all over. So it's a strategy that they've undertaken to just kind of keep things neat and tidy over at Waste Management. It's really interesting. Okay, so I want to give a shout out to Jason Kaluza. He was so helpful the last couple, well, it was actually last week. There was a couple no parking signs that went in by mistake. They were supposed to be 2-hour parking signs. So that it was just an error. And, we're sensitive about parking here in Fairport. So he quickly addressed it. There was one that went in right in front of the police department. It was an error. It was not supposed to be no parking in front of our police department. We definitely want people parking in front of our police department and have easy access to that facility. So that was changed right away. And there was also one error in front of the Mescalata, in front of the dry cleaning business. That was an error there. So that was quickly changed when they realized that those signs were made by there was a mistake made there.
As you're talking about parking, can I just add something from yesterday?
Yeah.
I noticed that now that there's a curb down in front of 80 North Main Street, all those curb cuts are gone, that there are parking spots down there on the east side of Main Street that weren't there before.
Yes, I think when I was talking to Jason about this, I think he said that there's about 13 extra parking spaces, a lot of them being on the north side of the railroad tracks, but additional parking spaces that have been added street side within Main Street project. So that's fantastic. So I just really, he was very helpful in getting that, explained and all of that. What else did I want to talk about? Oh, also DPW, they're doing a fantastic job with the leaves. I mean, I know this is just such a huge undertaking, and our residents are doing a great job of keeping the leaves out of the street, right? It's dangerous to have them, giant piles of leaves in the street for lots of reasons, but it's also can be quite an issue when they block the water, the drains there. So we've hit November 1st. That means no on-street parking, overnight on-street parking, November through April 1st, right? Okay. Just a quick comment about the whole town. We had the largest voting turnout in all of Monroe County right here in Perrington. And I just think that is so incredible. People are so engaged, and it's just so important. And I think we're showing Monroe County that we want our voices heard. So I'm proud to be a part of this town and have that be the case for where we live. The Eastern White Pine. I've been following this quite closely because this was very meaningful to me, and as well as not just me, but to many people. The Eastern White Pine tree that was donated when the Seneca chief came through. I just thought that was such a neat idea to pay homage to our Native American ancestors and this land. And collectively, we found the most amazing spot, I think, for that tree. And I wasn't able to attend the ceremony, but I did go down and see where it was planted, and it looks beautiful. It's right along the canal, right at the end of Liftbridge Lane East. Looks really beautiful. Such a good spot. I know you were there, so.
I was there, but what I'm going to share is another thank you to the DPW because they cleared about 15 feet of brush and garbage trees
great.
that were way out, and they cleared the spot way back. It looks beautiful.
Yes, it looks
Thank
great.
you, DPW.
So I think that might be it. I don't have really an update from OSED only because Jonna McCooey came and presented. So I would just be repeating what she...
You know what you can... They submitted the application on Thursday of last week. That's your update.
Okay. With the village board and OSED, the DRI grant application was submitted on Thursday. So that's a good update. So that's all I have.
I
So-
keep thinking of streetscape things. Tracy, I promise I'm going to you next, but
No, you guys have taken everything.
Oh, okay.
with
I don't need to repeat.
with the streetscape, you'll notice lots of beautiful street signs up and down Main Street. There are a couple misspellings, and there's one that hasn't been placed yet. And all of those items will be addressed when we go through our final checklist. So Packets Landing, or Packets is spelled incorrectly. There's no sign yet at DeLand Park A, I want to say, but there is one planned for that location. So if you come across something, send a note to me, Brian, and just let us know, hey, this might be part of your plan, but we just noticed X, Y, or Z. So some of those items were noticed by our staff. Some of them were brought to our attention by members of the community, and we appreciate everybody's input, but please also know that we're not done yet. It's going to take a while to get all the finals done.
I got really, really upset when I saw orange spray paint all over the sidewalks where they had to mark to, where they have to do the dig safe before they were drilling to put up the signs. So there was orange spray paint all over our brand new sidewalks, and I thought, oh my gosh, this is unbelievable. But Brian assured me that they are going to come through power wash. Like, there's going to be a thorough cleaning of Main Street. So if you do see that, don't freak out like I did. Deep breaths. Okay.
It's like having a new car and finding a big scratch on it.
Yes. So they'll come through and do a really thorough cleaning of everything. So.
Okay. I'm going to make sure that we get down there
Yeah.
for
All
Trustee
right,
for Tracy.
Trustee Briggs.
This is just wonderful listening to all the great things going on in the village.
And I know from your question at our work session with Jonna, it was about the public arts and funding being included, and it was all included in the application. At the end of the day, when the application was sent, all of that information was properly included in the application.
And I plan to stay with the village board until the end of the year, until you kick me out, until I need to be over at the town. So I will be here all the way through December is my plan, and then I will.
All right, so December, we're having a party.
Okay.
Okay, with that, we have now shared everything that we know of that's happening with Main Streetscape and most of the infrastructure in our village. Please be safe, and thank you for joining us this evening. Thank you to our guests here in the room. And at 6:50, do Do you need something? Oh, sure. So the next board meetings, we have a village board work session scheduled from November 24th, 2025 at 6 PM. I would say that's a TBD. We'll see if we need to hold that. That's the week of Thanksgiving. And if we need to hold it, we'll hold it. Otherwise, we will pause until the next regular village board meeting, which is Monday, December 8th, 2025 at 6 PM here in the Village Hall at the boardroom. And with that, thank you to everyone who's joined us this evening. And I would entertain a motion to adjourn at 6:59.
So moved.
By trustee Mishler,
Second?
by trustee Briggs. All in favor? Aye. We are adjourned. Have a great evening. Thank you for everyone who joined us, and we'll see you next time.